presentation of our senior class, where we have our underclassmen play Pomp and Circumstance, and our seniors will walk across the stage as seniors of Brookwood Orchestra. Before we get started this evening, I do want to go ahead and give you a few announcements. First of all, if your student has a school-rented instrument, meaning you paid for it back at the beginning of the year and you've had it at your house, we need those back here at Brookwood High School by Friday, May 9th. Friday, May 9th. That should give them still time to practice for our performance exam, but then also time for us on the back end to make sure we have all of our inventory back. Okay. We also have our fabulous Brookwood Orchestra Parents Association parents here tonight selling spiritware and concessions. So please do make your way over to this side of the commons area, check out what they have, and hopefully get your students some new orchestra swag, whether it's for the last 3 weeks of school or you're already preparing for August, September, all that good stuff. But please go check out what we have over there. Summer is quickly approaching, which is a fabulous time for your students to either start taking private lessons or go to a music camp, or maybe you just need to update your instrument a little bit, get new strings, bow repair, things like that. If you need recommendations for any of these things, please let us know. We're happy to share that information with you as colleges and other camps start sending stuff our way for their music weeks that they do. We posted those on Google Classroom, so your student has already had access to some of those. So we'd be happy to get you connected for one of those learning experiences. Next summer, we're taking a trip to Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and we hope that your student told you about it. And if not, we did have a meeting for it a few weeks ago, but we would still love to add people on our tour. So if you're interested, if you didn't get that information, email us, let us know, and we'll send you the information so that you can get signed up for that trip. It's going to be amazing. And then last little nuts and bolts here, if your student received their schedule last week, their course request verification, and orchestra was not on it, that's a problem, right? Yeah, you want to make sure that they're in orchestra for next year. So please make sure that you communicate with us, and then also fill out the schedule change request form so that we can make sure that your student is enrolled for another year of orchestra next year. The last day to do that is May 31st. And then last but not least, we also want to thank you parents for supporting your students' music education. We have so much fun. Mr. Marcachi and I have the best job ever. And we have way too much fun with our job, I think. Sometimes the students will probably tell you that. And so thank you for supporting your music education and keeping them in orchestra. It fills our hearts every single day. Thank you to BOPA for your support of our program. Without our work, all of these things would not happen. For BOPA, absolutely. And we also want to give a shout out to our leadership team, Brookwood Orchestra leadership team, who helps set everything up. This does not just appear. All of this takes a lot of work. We have a very dedicated team of students who help us put this together. So, without further ado, I realize I did not hit play on my camera here, and I definitely want to make sure that our seniors we have this available to broadcast later. So let me just hit play on that. Yeah. Oh yeah, we roll it. Okay, great. And then I don't have all my jabber in the video. That's great, right? Yeah. All right, so without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Marcachi to the stage to direct Elgar's Pomp and Circumstance while announcing your class of 2025. Matthew.
Marlon Mendoza. Connor Miller. Andrew Wynn. Gabriella Osborne. Sapna Patel. Ethan Ford. Sean Posgate. Haley
welcome to the concert. Super happy to have you guys here. I'm Mr. Marcacci. I'm the other orchestra director. I have the amazing job of working alongside the amazing Mrs. Kendall. Give it up for Miss Kendall. All right, a hip-hop song about a tortilla. A rap. Music from Wicked. This one does include percussion by some guy in the back. Oh, Mr. Marcacci does percussion.
from Pocahontas, fitting right in with our theme from this year, which was Music as Color. We've had so much fun with that this year, and we of course had that tie that into our spring concert. So please enjoy Colors of the Wind.